There has never been a better time to get into the Atari 7800 Pro system, and that includes during its retail life. The console was poised to help revitalize Atari's video game division, and maybe even the video game industry itself, right next to the NES. But the sale of Atari by Time Warner to the Tramiels allowed the win to be taken out of the 7800 sales. But that doesn't mean it's not a console worth looking into, even in the year 2023 and beyond. Let's take a look at everything you want and need to enjoy the 7800 and its physical media, and what you can expect to spend. And of course, we have to start with the console itself. But before we get to the rest of the video, I have to do the YouTube stuff that everybody tells you to do. So please, subscribe to the channel. We release 2 videos a week based on the 7800, and chances are, if you enjoy this video, you'll want to see what we have coming on the horizon. Anyway, enough of that stuff, let's get into the console. Just like everything else, the prices of the 7800 have climbed over the last 10 years or so. And while there isn't nearly as many kicking around as, say, the NES, you shouldn't have an issue finding a system. The key is finding the system with the features and accessories that you want. You can jump on eBay and find a console with tons of games and controllers for somewhere around $150 to $250, but you'll want to ensure that it has a power supply. The 7800 uses a proprietary connection, so sourcing a replacement can be difficult and expensive, turning a good deal into a costly nightmare. Facebook Marketplace seems to be a better route to go if you want a console with as many 2600 and 7800 games along with accessories as possible. At the time of this recording, I found consoles between $75 and $150, making it much more reasonable to search on Facebook Marketplace than eBay. Of course, this depends on the area that you live in and people's willingness to ship the items to you. But you may want to look for a modded console instead, as hooking up a 7800 via RF makes for an icky picture, and one that not all new TVs can display properly, or at all. Modded consoles go for about $159 to $209, and as high as $350 for fully refurbished consoles with S-Video, UAV, and custom BIOS with games built in. Usually, modded consoles don't come with any games. This allows you to build your own library of excellent software and not have to deal with reselling or getting rid of games you might not be interested in. You can always buy the UAV mod or an AV mod in general, anywhere from $5 to $15 from places like AliExpress, eBay, and other mod equipment retailers online. But as of this recording, Atari themselves have announced another solution that you can pre-order today, and it may be the ultimate source for people not using a CRT television for retro gaming. The 2600 Plus is an emulation machine that uses actual cartridges to play all your favorite 2600 and 7800 games. It has HDMI out, widescreen support, and comes with a brand new one-button joystick for your 2600 games, all for $129.99. But keep in mind that it's unknown if homebrew games will work, as a lot of them have custom hardware and more advanced chips inside, and Atari does not promise full compatibility. Still, the 2600 Plus could be a steal if you're looking for something to hook to a modern television, but you'll have to source 7800 compatible 2-button controllers yourself. Which brings us to if you buy a console bundle, you're likely to get a variety of controllers, including at least one ProLine 2-button joystick. But just like everything else in this world, time has made some of these controllers unreliable. If you're itching for original hardware to get as close to the original experience as possible, then I recommend heading over to Best Electronics and getting rebuilt ProLines or the rebuilt 2-button joypads. I've dealt with second-hand versions of both, and the rebuilt from Best is by far the best I found. Expect the rebuilt CX78 joypad from Best to run you about $59.99, and the rebuilt CX24 ProLine to run you about $29.95. But both are a steal compared to the old stuff on eBay. But then, you have to navigate Best Electronics' website to order these. So here's a little tip. You want to find the items on the website, and copy and paste the convoluted names into an email. Make sure you put Atari in the title of the email, and then wait for a response from the owner. When he emails you back, he'll tell you to call, and have your credit card ready for payment. I wish this was easier, but let me tell you, the quality is well worth the hassle. If you want something different than original controllers, I'd go for the Seagull 78 controller adapter from Atari Age. This will run you about $30, but it'll let you use your Sega Genesis 3 and 6 button controllers and turn them into Atari 7800 controllers. By far the easiest and cheapest for collectors who already have Sega controllers. You can also get the 7800 Mega controller adapter from Atari Age when it's in stock for $15, and it'll do the same thing, as well as giving advanced functionality with the 7800 game drive, such as save states, the ability to pause and select right off the controller, and more. However, neither the Mega 7800 controller adapter or the 7800 game drive are currently in stock, and it's unknown when more will arrive. Then there's the 7800 gamepad from Retro Game Boys, which gives 7800 players a controller exactly like the stock NES pad, for those who want something closer to what Atari's competition had at the time. They're solid, long-lasting, and work just as expected, all for $42. There's so many more options out there, but this should get you started. Besides, we need to get into the fun stuff. Here I want to recommend some reasonably priced games and avoid the stuff that costs the most. So that means no Midnight Mutants, no Ninja Golf, and basically none of the late release stuff. But that doesn't mean there isn't fun to be had. Here's my recommendations for people looking to have a ton of fun on the 7800 without breaking the bank. One-on-One Basketball, featuring Larry Bird and Dr. J, is a surprisingly fun and challenging sports game for the 7800 that is intuitive to control and a blast with a second player. Breaking the glass on a dunk triggers a fun Easter egg as well. Expect to pay about $9 loose, $20 complete, and about $25 new and sealed. Asteroids is the 7800 game I've played the most, and it's maybe one of the best versions of Asteroids ever. GCC wisely decided not to replicate the vector graphics of the arcade, and went for something pseudo 3D that works extremely well. You don't have the shield in this version, but the teleport can be used in sticky situations. A 2-player mode makes this a fun and long-lasting package. The game is going up in price, as loose copies are $15, complete copies are about $30, and sealed copies have risen all the way to $50. Try to find a good bundle with some other titles that you're interested in. The 7800 version of Joust is considered one of the best ports from the day, and it's still just as much fun as ever. Expect to pay about $17 for a loose copy, and both complete and sealed copies go for about $34 to $40. Miss Pac-Man was programmed by GCC for the original arcade, so you know it's going to be good. And it is. Expect to pay $13 for a loose copy, $28 complete in box, and about $40 sealed. You can't go wrong with Miss P on the 7800. Tower Toppler is an often overlooked gem for the 7800 library, and one that is sure to give you your money's worth in challenge alone. Conquering the towers is rewarding and requires the time and will to see the whole game to the end, but you can also use the level select to choose where you start and to see the later towers. Expect to pay $15 for a loose cartridge, and about $30 for either a complete in box or sealed copy. And my final recommendation is Crossbow. Crossbow is a game that can be enjoyed with a controller or a light gun if you have a CRT television. There's a ton of replayability and challenge to be had in protecting your group of adventurers. Expect to pay about $23 loose, $30 complete in box, or $40 for a sealed copy. It's well worth it. But those aren't the only games I recommend, because the best reason to get into the 7800 is homebrew games. The homebrews are really pushing the console beyond what many thought it was capable of, and there are a ton of great homebrews available online today. Here are a few of my favorites that will show off what the console can do. Bentley Bear's Crystal Quest is a mascot platformer from the mind of Robert De Crescenzo, and one that Atari themselves should have done back in the 1980s. It includes pokey audio, so not only are the graphics top-notch, but so is the sound. It's available at Atari Age for $60, and that includes a box and manual. Crazy Bricks is a great breakout-style game that pays homage to Atari's past, with different screen layouts and sound effects. Another gem done by Robert De Crescenzo, and can be had for $35 loose, or $50 complete in box from the Atari Age store. Video 61 has a great version of Venture that not only includes all the arcade levels and rooms, but 2 additional levels and 8 more rooms exclusive to this version. Well, Technically, some of it was in the XE and 5200 version, but you'll get those and more. An excellent addition to your collection for $40, available from AtariSales.com, and of course, there's free shipping in the United States. Dragon's Havoc is a great shmup with a unique power-up system. Fantastic colors and parallax scrolling means this game not only plays great, but looks great too. If you like this one, then check out the other 2 games in the Dragons trilogy by Rem and Thule, available at the Atari Age store with a box and manual for $50. Plutos and Sirius aren't technically homebrews, but rather prototypes that were completed by the Atari homebrew community many years ago. They are both space-shooting shmups, one vertical and one horizontal. There's a flavor for everybody here, and they can be grabbed from gooddealgames.com for $49.99 for Plutos and $42.99 for Sirius. And trust me, I like to feature about a dozen or more homebrews, but we'll finish with Night Guy and Low Res World, Castle Days. It's a fantastic looking and playing side-scrolling adventure that requires a sharp mind and a sharp sword. Get it for $40 with box and manual from the Atari Age store. There's just so much to go over with the 7800. This guide should help get you started with the appropriate console for your needs and some good games to start with, including some homebrew to truly get the most out of the console, along with some good controllers that should last the life of your console. And we didn't even tap into the 2600 stuff that's completely compatible with the 7800. We didn't even talk about the flash cards that are already out and some that are being released in the future that will allow you to play all your favorite games. And we didn't touch on other peripherals like light guns, the Atari box, the save key, and so much more. Each one of those will get an additional video down the line, but I hope this gets you started on your path to enjoying what the 7800 has to offer. Remember, if this video helped you, please subscribe, and if you have any other recommendations for new 7800 owners, leave them in the comments. I'm sure they'll appreciate them. This has been Silverback, aka John, aka the 7800 Pro System Gamer, and I'd like to thank you for watching. And there are a ton of great home boobs. There's lots of home boobs. Yeah, I like home boobs. They're the best boobs.